Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Katelyn, and today we are continuing the 100 Dragon Challenge. So, last week, I had a blast with the Wrath Dragon, and I had a different dragon plan for this week, but I decided to continue doing the 7 Deadly Sins, and today we are doing Greed. So I was really excited to do this one for a couple of reasons. Obviously, dragons are known for at least European dragons, a lot of them are known for hoarding gold, hoarding treasure, and just basically loving to surround themselves with shiny gold and shiny objects. So I thought it was a perfectly fitting combo to combine a dragon with greed. And I just love the idea, and I was really excited to make a greed dragon. Just like I said, it just fits so well with most dragon personas. So for this one's design, I knew for sure one of the key characteristics I wanted was it to be on a pile of gold, and then I was also thinking if the gold could somewhat melt into the skin, maybe give it a very shiny, lustrous skin, but also just have this very creepy dragon that just had a bunch of arms, and then also its spines and any adornments on it were fingers or little arms. I just loved this really creepy persona of this dragon just with all these arms that were just greedy and always grabbing things and grabbing at gold and grabbing at goods that it wanted. And that was just the idea I ran with. And of course I had to give him some really nice creepy hands, and I did have an idea at first of putting holes in the hands, so it's kind of like a play on a reflection of greed. It's no matter how much you grab, it's never enough, and that was just kind of what I was thinking with the dragon as well. If I put holes in the hand, it's as if it's grabbing the gold, but then it just keeps falling out constantly over and over, and no matter what he does, he can never satiate his greed. I ended up not adding it to the final drawing, just because I really liked how the hands looked and I felt really bad putting holes in them. But that was kind of the idea in the sketching phase of what I was thinking of doing overall. And so with the idea brainstormed and hashed out, it was time to do the final sketch. So this drawing overall took a very long time. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I think the total recording time, oh my God, I didn't even look when I finished, but cutting out all the pauses or anything, I think this took me at least maybe 4 to 5 hours to do everything. And it just because the line art was really intensive, all those little fingers and arms took a really long time, but it was totally worth it. So I know I jumped ahead of myself just a little bit, and now I'm just roughing in the overall pose. So I wanted this dragon to be kind of more of an Asian lung style dragon, or more like a lindworm, honestly. Like a lindworm style dragon, but I know, oh man, don't lindworms only have 2 legs? I always get them mixed up with all these different dragon types, but either way, long worm-like, snake-like dragon instead of the traditional European dragon with wings. I just thought I'd break outside of what I automatically thought of for greed and do a slightly different dragon guarding over this big pile of gold, and it's very a massive hoard of goodies that it's stolen over the years. And with that, I added a lot of detail to this guy, like I said, and it's funny, I love getting the comments from you guys calling back to me oh man, I don't even know what, episode 10 of this, where I was I'll do full bodies when I can, but I should do mostly headshots to help with time. And here I am nonstop doing full bodies, and they're getting more and more complicated with more and more details just because I'm having so much fun with this challenge. And this guy is no exception. There are so many little details on it. You can see here, I did that creepy little arm, and it's all over this guy, little fingers and arms and things. And I just love it. It just really fulfilled my love of creepy creatures. I love drawing creepy art and monsters specifically. I'm not much of one for watching scary and creepy movies or indulging in that type of, I guess that part of the genre, but I love just drawing creepy monsters, and this one was super fun. I loved making the multiple arms going across the body and then having everything go across the back. And then at the end of the tail, I also added a really big hand as kind of I didn't want it to be obvious that it was a hand, In the end, when I did color it and finish the line art, I did add a little more hand detailing than I was intending, but it looks super sick. I just wanted it to look more like it had a bunch of spikes at the end of this tail, which ended up being this really creepy hand. And I love it. I love all the detailing in this one. It was super fun to go through and do all the line art. Even though it took a long time, totally worth it. Having all those creepy arms and hands and fingers, I just loved it. I also added some bug detailing to him. As you can see on the face, it kind of looks more like these weird bug claw finger-like things. It was like a combination of, well, I guess it's like, they're almost like bug slash crab slash fingers as part of like the little flare around the face. And that just kind of incorporated the overall thought I had with these fingers, but it's also was like impractical. Like I wanted to think of like, what if this thing was trying to gorge on something or eat something? Like it would, like these little creepy little fingers would grab onto it. I don't know. I could gush all day about how much I love this creepy boy, but as you can see, I'm just having a blast drawing him anyway and making these really fun creepy fingers. And I bet I said creepy fingers at least like 20 to 30 times in this episode. It's gonna happen, guys. I just am gushing about this very unsettling boy and I love it. I think the Deadly Sins are just a way for me to delve into that side of me, into like designing these type of monsters, and I'm having so much fun with them. And as many of you reminded me, I also did, oh man, and here it is again, me flubbing up on voiceover, but I also did Lust, I think. Yes, I also did the Lust dragon. So I need to go through and actually look what I have left. I know for a fact, I think I still have, okay, we've done Greed, we've done Lust, we've done Sloth, we've done Wrath, and Gluttony. So I have 2 left, and I can't remember the Deadly Sins at the moment, so let me look them up. So you can always tell when it's been a long day when my brain just totally goes mush, but we do have 2 left, so all we have left is Pride and Envy. So that's all we have left. I'm very excited to do those ones. And that also brings up the colors of this guy. So I was very torn on what colors to do, because green is often referred to with envy, like you're green with envy, but then green is also associated with greed just based off of like money. Like our US dollar bills are green. A lot of people associate green with greed in general. So I kind of was conflicted on what colors I wanted to do. I ended up trying out a lot there at the beginning because I just couldn't decide. I'm like, I could go with a blue or like maybe more of a purple dragon, maybe add some gray. And I just went back and forth before coloring this. That's why I kind of started with the gold. I'm like, let me just lay down at least the colors I know for sure are gonna be there and then figure out what colors I want to make this final dragon. And that was really tough for me because I'm like, I know there's no rule saying that I can't make more than one of the 7 deadly sins like green. Like there's nothing saying only envy can be green, but in my brain I was like, I want to make them diverse and interesting, but I was really wanting to do green for this one. And so I did end up picking more of a blue-green, and it ended up working really well. I loved it with the contrast of the yellow, or I guess complement of the yellow. It looks really nice, and I'm glad I ended up going with green, even though my gut was saying it's like, no, save green for envy. I really like the colors I ended up choosing for this final piece overall. And I did sprinkle in a few other colors. Like you see, I do have a lot of colors on the side. I don't use all of them, but I would say out of that lineup, maybe 2 weren't used. So it was a lot of layering, a lot of diverse colors, and I think it really made this piece shine and work really well. So I'm going and adding in some yellows onto the actual dragon. Like I said, I wanted the idea that maybe the gold has melted onto its body over time. Maybe this dragon runs a little hot, so the gold has been melting onto its body, or it's just like the reflection of the gold onto it. I kind of like the idea of it like melting on and almost becoming one with this dragon, and it's just overall like this shiny, but creepy and cool colored dragon. I just liked the idea of combining all of those together. So I'd say probably the part of the process that took the longest out of anything was the coloring, because when I add those type of highlights, you can't just go back over with the marker in one big sweep. I had to make sure to kind of go around those yellows to make sure I didn't overlay them or shade them too much with the green. I would basically completely lose that bright highlight and that yellow if I just quickly went over with the green marker. So I had to be a little meticulous with at least this first round of coloring, and then I got to, I mean not loosen up, but I got to be a little less precise with the other rounds of color as this piece continued. Because I knew I was gonna shadow and shade everything with that blue like I did on the face. I really liked that, and I wanted to add that throughout the whole body, and luckily most of the shadow wasn't really close enough to yellows to interfere with it. There was a couple of places where the blue was going to overlay the yellow. I mean, that was just kind of inevitable. Plus, I mean, you can only be so precise with Copic sometimes just because of the brush tip. And, you know, it happens. But I was able to keep most of the yellow intact, and it looked really cool. I just really love how shiny and interesting this creature looks, and the really stark contrast of those shadows and highlights. Really like it. And again, I'm just gonna say it, super creepy boy. Love him, love him, love him. All right, and we are getting close to wrapping up this piece, so I'm going back in with my white gel pen and adding some highlights around the creature overall, and amongst the gold and other places. I just really wanted to push some of those lighter lights. Even though I did have the yellow already on the body, I just thought it could use a little bit more punch of a bright white. So I really love doing this Greed Dragon. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I cannot wait to see what you guys do with Greed. These 7 Deadly Sins are really fun to see the interpretations you guys make, because they're just so open-ended, like anything is possible with the Deadly Sins. So let's go ahead and jump into last week's Wrath Dragons. You guys did amazing, like blown away by the diversity of your dragons. Like it was really cool. Like I loved all your different reds and oranges you used for the dragons, and just like the difference in ideas. Some people thought of smaller dragons, some people thought of these giant crazy dragons, and it was just really cool work. I loved it, you guys. You really rocked it. Obsidian Winter, I loved your idea of being blind with wrath. Like I had the idea of, you know, having the wrathful hot tongue, but I didn't even think about blind with wrath. That's such a good idea, and I love your design overall. And Sleepy Yui-chan, I love this concept of just like being so angry about an Uno game. I don't know why, but it just really tickled me, and I was just laughing so much because I know I get very competitive with my card games and board games, and I feel like you said in your comment, sometimes that is your, like you are that dragon when you're losing at a game, and God, I for sure can be like that 100%. Again, you guys did great this week. Thank you so much for entering some Wrath Dragons, and again, thank you to everyone who recently joined the community. We officially hit like 2,000 more new subscribers. So welcome if you're here from Jazz's channel or from wherever you are. I really appreciate you guys being here. And if you guys would like to participate in this week's Greed Dragon, make sure to post your dragon under the hashtag KM100dragons on Twitter or Instagram, and try to get it to me like the Wednesday before the Friday these are supposed to release. That's usually a pretty good time frame since I finish up editing these either on Thursday or Friday, but either way, thank you guys so much for stopping by and checking out this video. And if you aren't already, I would love if you joined our community by hitting that subscribe button. And if you like this video, leave a like down below. And if you have ideas for dragons, I got a couple links in the description below of a Twitter you can go reply to or join our Discord. So thanks again guys so much for stopping by, and I will see you all next time. Bye everybody.